What's up, guys? We are back again with the infamous Jay. Let's get into it. I'll let you introduce yourself. Please let us know who you are.
Big year vibes, man. It's the kid Jaiyoko. I am the CEO of Jaiyoko Entertainment. I am a manager, a mentor, an educator. I'm just a person in the music industry who try to help everybody get to the next level.
Yeah. So wait, which hat did you wear first? What was the first hat you put on?
Intern.
Okay.
I started from the bottom. You feel me?
That's where you gotta start at.
I started at the bottom, straight up, not getting paid, getting in trouble. I was in New York when I was interning, so it was pay for a train or pay for food. So it was finesse life, my whole thing. You feel me? So I started off as an intern, and it's crazy to this day. The person who I was interning with, shout out to my man Theo Brown. I just called him last week to help me push a record. So it's just crazy how time goes. You know, everything is full circle.
That's dope. So I feel like it's definitely a humbling experience for you. I'm pretty sure, like, just being tapped into so many different kind of like environments, people. What's that like? Kind of just like being in the industry, because you're pretty young, right? I mean, not like OC young, but look, black don't crack. You're still pretty young.
That's what I stick with. You feel me? I still get carded, so I roll with it. It all depends. One thing about being in the industry, there's a lot of energy. You feel me? There's a lot of different personalities. And you have to be able to navigate it all. I mean, like, everybody's not going to be your friend. You got to know that ahead of time. So it's just being around so many different types of people, whether it's cultural, whether it's religion, whether it's race, and then being able to just adapt in those different areas for real. I
definitely know that you have some mental health things coming up too. Talk about it.
Definitely. So I just was trying to do my own due diligence. I've had mental health issues. I work in the music industry. All of my clients have stuff that's, you know what I'm saying, going on and going wrong. And I'm just trying to be a advocate, you feel me, and letting people know, like, not only, me too, I go through that, but then starting to provide the space for it as well. So last month I did my first mindful kind of mental health vibe, if you would, and it kind of was like just a kickback. And I just told all my homies, like, yo, come out. We gonna kind of talk about how we feel. I wound up getting a therapist that come through. My partner actually plays the song bowl, so a lot of people have not experienced that before. So it was just like, look, I go through stuff. Let me introduce y'all to some of the things that help me, and maybe it'll help you. So the vibe was actually super dope, and I'm doing it again this month. So actually, I'm doing it next Friday, 6:30, downtown Orlando at our studios, Pretty Smart Studios. So I'm trying to invite anybody who's kind of in the music industry, because it's like we'll talk about it, but we never it's always scratching the surface. It's like, yeah, I got mental health issues, and then you can't turn away. You feel what I'm saying? So I wanted to be like, we having those conversations, like, what was the challenge that you went through this week? And then I propose, different conversations, with it being Pride this month. Like, I'm going to talk about some Pride stuff. Like, yo, it's a lot of wild stuff to be on the hip hop side, and then also be, in multifaceted realms. You feel me? Like, I'm black, I'm gay, I'm on the music side. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm having those tough conversations, but at the same time, I'm providing options as well, having that therapist there and having somebody who's a professional that says, here are some tools for you, having the song bowls there, which again, if you've never experienced it before, it's something that, like, it's just a cleanse that we need, and I feel like we go through a lot.
Is that when you, like, do the little thing? Oh yeah, I always wanted to, like,
and as a person who, I used to see it and be like, oh, that's cool, whatever, I went into my first session before, when I tell you, I went in like completely paranoid. I was in somebody's house anytime I go, like places I don't go. I live in Florida, so we have amendments that I follow, if that makes sense. So I went to a energy healing with a weapon, because that's just how I was.
Gotta be ready.
Now, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm in a spot where it's like, listen, I'm telling everybody that is the best thing that has ever happened to me before. For me, was going to those sessions, to the point that I'm like investing in the bowls. You feel me? Like investing in going to one of the sessions monthly, getting my family involved, because I realized it works. So it's one of those, like, you got to experience it to realize it, but once you realize it, it's like, I'm bringing all my homies around, because we need this realization. We need this cleansing. We need this moment to be vulnerable. Why not do it with each other if we don't want to do it with these outside folks?
Definitely. So you said a little bit already, as far as kind of like artists and creators individually just talking about mental health, but not like really getting into the nitty gritty. So is there like any other things that you see within the community of just like behaviors or things that we kind of like share?
I mean, I think a lot of us suffer in silence. You feel me? Like, there's so many people, and we're not realizing that we're going through the same things as each other, but because it's not cool to be vulnerable, or it's not cool to, like, there's this whole stigma, especially with, like, black men, like, you're not supposed to cry. It's crazy. You feel me? Like, what are you supposed to do with all these emotions inside? And then when you don't know what to do with them, that's when negative aspect happens. So I think it's just trying to eliminate some of these stigmas and letting people know, like, it's okay to not be okay. it's okay to talk about your issues. It's okay to seek help. It's okay to take medication if you need. Like, whatever you need for your own healing journey, do it. Don't not heal yourself because you're trying to impress somebody else. You feel me? Like, now you're neglecting your own self. So how dare you neglect yourself to try to impress somebody else? It just don't make no sense to me. You feel me? And that's as a person who at one point I was that person. So now that I'm not that person no more, I'm trying to tell as many people as possible, like, do what you gotta do for you, man.
So was like, at what point was the turning point for you? Because I feel like people who, as confident as you are, as we are, just have that type of confidence. You know, you don't wake up with that mentality. No. So was it like a situation that kind of like happened to kind of like wake you up to get you to where you are today?
I mean, it was a lot of situations. That was the whole thing. I lived a very traumatic life, not on purpose, not like nobody bothered me, nothing like that. I grew up really fast. I was a caretaker. So I started caretaking at the age of 13. I stopped my caretaking journey when I was 30. So that's a long time to be. My priority is 2 other people's lives. You feel me? So I had that aspect of having to grow up fast. There was an aspect of moving. So I'm from the DMV originally, as you know. I went to New York for a year, and then I had to drop out of school to come be a caretaker. So that dramatic going from do everything that you're supposed to do, get the scholarships, go to college, go to the best college, and I'm like, I'm doing everything I was supposed to, and then I still didn't get what I was, supposed to get type thing. So there was a depression aspect that came as well. You mix all these different things together with not being able to prioritize your own depression because you're taking care of other people's lives, and it brings your head kind of to a whirlwind. You feel me? So I had that aspect going on. I was living in Jacksonville, and that was just a whole, that is a jungle in itself. You feel me? So I'm living in the jungle at the time. And it's just a lot of stuff going on environmentally. Being in the music industry, we're in clubs. It's not always the safest space to be in. So there were some really, life or death situations that I was around just by being in the environment of trying to excel my own career. And you kind of bundle all those things together. And again, it wasn't cool to talk about these things. It was just cool. Somebody got killed in front of us last night. Won't talk about it. You kind of just, you cry on your own for a little bit.
Brush it under the rug.
You brush it under the rug and you figure out where we're going next type thing. And then it's, all right, well, we got to be super protective this time. So it was a lot of those things happening. And after a while, you realize that I don't like how I feel. You feel me? On top of the fact that not only was I not liking how I feel, my body was starting to literally shut down on me. You feel me? So I was even diagnosed. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like because I feel so many emotions and I wasn't letting them out, I was starting to create diseases within myself. My body was starting to shut down from the inside out. So when you get to a point, you realize that you're stressing so much that your body is about to turn off.
Right.
You have to make changes. And that was really the big catalyst for me. On top of, ending my caretaking journey and realizing, like, I have to take care of myself now. I'm 30 when this happened. I had never prioritized myself. I went to a doctor's appointment for myself and burst out crying because the lady asked me, what's wrong? What do you need? I'm like, I don't know. What medicines do you take? I don't know. But I know all 13 of my medications that my grandfather took, some time ago type thing. That's how it was. So it was just realizing you got to learn yourself. You got to take that time to relearn yourself and prioritize yourself. And I'm encouraging everybody around me to do that because if you take more time in that, like, you're going to be a happier person. You're going to be a more productive person. I've progressed so much, I would say, within like this last, when I tell you like this stuff is new, I've always been on the healing journey, but being active, 6 months. And the amount of changes that I've seen within myself from taking better care of myself, eating better, working out not for the sake of losing weight, but for the sake of being healthy, taking vitamins, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I hear that.
Has
vitamins
completely changed my brain for real. You feel me? So, Seymour, shout out to Styles P, who got the the lion's mane vitamins type thing. All of those different things have changed, but these are things that we don't talk about. You go into a studio, we're not talking about taking vitamins. We who got the backwoods type thing. So these are the conversations that I'm trying to have when I'm around folks. It's like, cool. You know what I'm saying? You smoking backwoods, you take Maline to clean your lungs out, and they're like, what? I'm like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
It don't work out.
It gotta be healthy too. So it's switching the dynamic and just having those conversations sometimes.
So what's something or one thing that you love about yourself?
My journey, man. I'm a survivor. I tell people all the time, I'm on borrowed time. I'm not supposed to be here for multiple things, from surviving health things to surviving, looking at the chamber of guns, and sometimes, you feel me, to car accidents that was completely out of my control. I have a purpose of being here. So the best thing I like about myself is I'm here.
And then what's one, kind of thing that you love doing outside of like, you know, entertainment and kind of like the industry, or what you do on a day-to-day for work?
Day-to-day for work is trapping off the phone, man. I'm always on my phone with some type of way, making a play, email, FaceTime, X, Y, and Z. What I do kind of as a downside from the entertainment life, because it's hard to relax when you're in an entertainment life, because what people typically do to relax is a job for me.
Right.
Oh, let's go to the club. I do that already. Feel me? Like, hey, let's go to a movie. I knew that movie was coming out 6 months ago. You feel me? So I'm a nature person for real, regardless of what people think from the outside. Like, I want to take 2 out and just go wander in the woods. I want to go fishing for real.
Nature will
like,
keep you grounded.
I'm a nature baby for real. I love it. I love to just go lay out in the middle of the grass with nothing going on. Just, what are you doing? You've been out here for an hour. I know. I'm at my favorite place right now. I'm just outside being.
And I liked how you brought up the DMV a little bit. So I feel like I definitely had to like run and get away from just like that environment, that just everything that was going on over there is really kind of like crabs in a barrel type situation. You already know. So like if you had like a megaphone or something that you can like say to the whole DMV, what would you say?
I think the biggest thing, you know, when you get on the outside is, even it's funny that you said like crabs in a barrel. That's every city. You feel me? That's every city that I've been in. That's every city that I've toured. And I asked the artist, like, what's your issue? It's crabs in a barrel. That's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere you go. So, I mean, the biggest thing I could say about my city, like, I wish it would get back to, like, when I was there. So, I graduated high school in 2010. Man, when I was there, we was really big on, like, putting each other on. You feel me? Like, if I had somebody that could benefit you, okay, but, you know, we was big into the bands back then. I know a drummer who might be good for your band type thing. You feel me? It was always just putting people on. So I hope and I encourage everybody just to go back to not being afraid to put other people on, because it's not going to slow you down. You feel me? If anything, it's just going to help elevate you, and you putting good energy out into the universe. So eventually it's going to come back to you some type of way. So love, man. Just show each other a little bit more love, and understand we can all go to the next level together.
Spread light, spread love. That's a key bar right there. But no, I love it. Do you kind of like have any goals for yourself, or just like where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. I hope to have just created more of an impact when it comes to, you know, educating people in this music business. Like, I really want to start a school soon. Kind of like a full like academy. You feel me? Like, the biggest thing I tell people is, like, when they get in this music industry, there is no school or no protocol to go through first. Like, there is no school to be a rock star for me, but we need that education aspect, because, like, if you want to be a doctor, you can't just, you know, do open heart surgery and be like, this is what I want to do. Like, that's how it is with artists. They wake up, they say they want to be artists, and then they jump into it. Where's the training? Where are we teaching them how to, the business aspect? Where are we teaching them how to get their finances? Where are we teaching them how to manage their mental health, or just, you know, everything? So that's what I kind of want to provide, is like some type of a school or an academy, so people can walk through these kind of examples first and be coached and be mentored to be successful artists, because you realize a lot of these people who are successful, they have teams behind them. So I want to be able to like broker these artists, so when they break, like, they have a team already. You feel me? And it's not them just jumping out like, I'm on Instagram when I'm popping it.
Which a lot of you are, but it's okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So just being able to continue to encourage people, get bigger resources, get bigger platforms. You know, we've been able to do a lot of dope things so far. So I'm just happy with where we're at now, and just knowing that's like, man, we only right here. We skimming the surface. So when we get, you know, 5 years from now, we're going to be able to make some major impacts and some real big waves.
All right, I want to end it off with definitely trying to milk a gem out of you. You guys definitely have to go on her Instagram page, her website, all of that, and tap into the course if you want the real knowledge. But if we can get one good gem today, what would you have for us?
Trust your struggle. Trust your struggle. You feel me? You're where you're at for a reason. You might not be where you want to be, but you probably weren't where you were at yesterday either. So just trust where you at, because when you rush in, you lose track of where you're supposed to be. When you procrastinate, you're not pushing yourself to elevate either. But trust where you at, because so many of us give up when we like right on the breaking point. You feel me? Self included. I feel like I, you know, gave up right when it was gonna be something real. So it's like, just trust your struggle, man. And I think the mantra I've been living by for the last couple of weeks, for real, is just trust and surrender. You feel me? It's hard, but when you do it, when I tell you,
consistency, gotta just keep it going.
Man, you see stuff instantly, for real. You feel me? Like, you just have to trust that where you at is where you're supposed to be, and surrender control. Because as much as we try to control things, like, we are not in control. feel me? Like, we can make better choices to help the outcomes. You can't control half of what's going on in the world right now. You feel me? Like, there are higher powers over top of us. So if you trust where you at in your journey, you surrender so much control of just trying to make everything how you want it and just be, amazing things will happen.
I hope y'all listening and really just leaving and taking these good advice and just making sure y'all just, carry it along with you throughout your life, because it's really important that you not only trust your struggle, trust yourself, just have trust in like the abilities that you're able to do. God didn't put us here just to just be. He gave us these important things that were specifically made for us. So we have these gifts. Let's just go create and just be beautiful people. I really appreciate you coming on today. Is there anything else that you want to leave us off with?
Hey, man, keep being great. You feel me? Everybody, you here for a reason. You here for a purpose. Don't give up on yourself. Just keep going. All you got to do is be better than you were the day before. There is no competition. It's me versus me. And I don't say that just to say it. It's tattooed on me.
Hey, so, me versus me.
Wake up in the morning and tell yourself it's you versus yourself and keep winning.
All right, guys, we are going to go on a break and then wrap it up very soon. Thank you so much for coming on.
For sure. Appreciate you having me.
Yes.